Hello friends, my name is Miss Fletcher. Welcome to my classroom. It's a place where everyone is an artist and it's impossible to make a mistake. Today we're going to be learning all about the watercolor markers that came in our art kits. Let's go to the drawing board. So today we're going to be using our Crayola markers. You're going to need the brush that came in your Praying watercolor kit. You need a pencil. You need just a dish of water. It could be any kind of dish of water. And the paper we're using today is actually one of the pieces of watercolor paper that came in your kit. There were 5 of them, so you need one of those. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open our markers. I'm going to slide them open so we can see all the colors here. And we're going to go ahead and write the names of the colors across the top. So we're going to start up in the left-hand corner, and we're going to start with pink. And then our next color is red. We're going to move to orange. Yellow. Green, blue, and purple. We have our rainbow. Now there's also a brown, a gray, and a black. So let's add those in too. So we have brown, gray, and black. Okay, so we have all of our colors, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our first color, we'll take our pink, and know when the packs are brand new, the markers can actually be really hard to open, so you can pull on them sometimes, and some of them were even hard for me. So if you're struggling, have an adult help you, okay? And we're going to go under our pink, and we're just going to make a nice dark mark. Not too big though, we want to be able to use the bottom half of our paper for an art project, so we're just going to be putting it up there today. Next we're going to go ahead and take our red, and we're going to do the same thing with our red, and we want it to be long enough so that we'll be able to, we want it to be a little bit long but not too long. Okay, so don't make it too tiny, and you'll understand why in a little bit. Make it about the same size that I did. Next we're going to move to our orange. And each time when you're finished with a marker, it's really important to make sure that that you close the lid. See this little space there? You have to make sure that's closed all the way, and also listen for the click. Okay, so make sure you close your lids all the way. I'm going to move on to my yellow now. And we're going to go to the green. And I'm going to go all the way down, making sure I close my lid all the way each time. And you keep hearing that click. You want to hear that click. At school, your teachers will often check to see if you've left your markers open. But at home, you are the one who needs to make sure, or you won't have markers. Almost there. One thing I do too, sometimes it's really hard to get the marker lid on, so I'll actually set it on the desk and I'll push with the pressure going onto the desk, and I find that to be really helpful sometimes. And my last color is black. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get my brush and I'm going to get my water. And often, if you've just got your brush out of your watercolor pack for the first time, it's going to have this plastic tip, and you can just take that off and recycle it. Now it's important when a brush is dry to never bend the tip. You want to immediately put it into the water and soften it. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to take some water into the bottom half of our markers, and we're going to see what happens when they get activated with water. And between each one, we want to make sure we clean our brush out really well so we can see our colors clearly. So there's our pink and now our red. And then I clean my brush. I'm going to go into my orange. And you get to see that you can use markers just like paints. I clean my brush. I clean my brush. And I'm leaving the top half dry so that we can see the difference between what it looks like when it's just a regular marker and when it is painted. And that way you'll have a reference guide. You can keep this so that you know what the colors are going to look like beforehand. And once again, I make sure I clean my brush. If I don't, I would just take blue into that purple. So I'm really going to make sure that I'm good about that. And then I'm going to clean my brush. I've got just a couple of colors left. I clean my brush. I clean my brush and I get to my last one. And so this is what all of these colors look like when they're activated with water. So it's pretty cool how you can use them as just as markers, but also as water paints. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I want us to be able to practice using the colors down here below. So we're actually just going to draw some really simple flowers. So I'm going to start with a circle. And I think I'm going to make kind of sunflower shaped flower for this one. I could add a stem in. I could add in some petals. And I think over here, I'm going to go for some triangles. Make something a little different styled. And we're just drawing simple flowers because we want to go ahead and just play with our markers. I'm going to add a stem in here. And then if I want, I can go ahead and make a ground, just a waved line, so that we have a place for some dirt. Now I'm going to go ahead and play with my markers. But what's cool about these is I don't have to color it all the way in. I can just go around the edge. And I want to see what happens when I take a little bit of red out into those petals. Still listening for that click when I put them away. And I'm just going to take this into the edges. I don't have to color it in solid. And it's going to give a really beautiful look. And same thing with my stem. And let me show you what I mean. I can just dip in. And look at how nicely that fills out. And then it's going to do an interesting color blend with the red and the orange out in the petals. And each time I'm going in and I'm getting more water and I'm reactivating. If you don't add water, you'll get very, very frustrated. If your colors aren't moving, it means you're not using enough water. So you just want to keep going all the way around. And then I can also do my stem. And see how nicely that color fills in? Now I touched my red a little bit there, so it came up into my stem a little bit. But that'll actually make it just kind of interesting. I could have waited for this to be completely dry if I didn't want that to happen. Now on my other one, I could go with a different color pattern if I wanted to. I think I'm going to go pink in the middle. And I think I'm going to try purple. And this time I'm not going to put that extra line. I'm just going to let them be the color that they are. And I'm going to dip in. I'm going to do my center first. And now I'm going to come out into my petals and see what happens. And you'll see how this is a little bit lighter than when I put orange in. And it kind of makes this really beautiful darker purple into a lighter purple. Oh, look at that. Oh, and I forgot to do my stem. Let me go ahead and add that in. Just add in a little. Lick my pen. There we go. Now to put in the, I want to put them into the soil next. So all I have to do is take and do a little bit of brown down here. And then same thing, I could go into my water and I'm going to activate it. And I'm going to instantly have a beautiful place for these flowers to grow. Now I also want to put in a sky, but before I can put in the sky, I need to let this dry completely. Otherwise the blue is going to run into my flowers and my flowers will run into the blue. So we're going to take a small little pause here. You need to take one as well, and we're going to let our paintings dry. Okay, so my painting is dry now. So I'm going to go ahead and start to put in my sky. And I want to have a blue sky, but you can choose whatever color you want. And I'm just going to take and color around my edge. I don't have to color in close to my my flowers. I could just go in a little ways, and I'm going to put just a little bit between them as well and underneath them. And now what I can do is I can activate the blue with my water. So I dip into my water, and I can go ahead and turn this into paint. And I can come up near my flowers, I can go around them. And I don't have to go in all the way if I don't want to. And I'm going to go all the way around. And my flowers will have a beautiful sky to be in. And you'll notice that I keep dipping into my water. Because if I try to do it without the water, it just does this. It doesn't work. So if you're finding that it's not working, it means that you haven't used enough water. You have not activated your markers. So you have to make sure you keep dipping into the water. Okay? I've almost made it all the way around. Oh, I have a beautiful sky. Now when I'm all finished, I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush. I'm going to make sure I put all of my markers back into their house. So I'm going to, oh, and before I put them in the house though, oh, this is very important. I am going to check to make sure that they are closed tight. I will push it with my thumb and make sure they are all closed very, very tight. So I am pushing with my thumb and checking each of my markers before I put them into their house. Oh, all of mine have been closed very tight so far. I have done a good job. Excellent. And I can put this back into my art kit bag. I'm going to take my brush and put it back into my watercolor pan, into its house. And I'm going to take my pencil and put it back in with my art kit. And I'm going to make sure I take my water and put it into the sink and clean my dish. So there we have it. What beautiful flowers we made. I hope you enjoyed learning about the watercolor markers. I'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.